It's September, which means the prospects are a-coming. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Saturday, September 2nd. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White. And let's just start, and we'll call them the Big Four. These are four of arguably the top prospects in all of baseball. There's a chance we could see them in September, if not maybe early next season. But the names here, Jackson Holliday with the Orioles, Jackson Chourio with the Brewers, Junior Caminero with the Tampa Bay Rays, and Jordan Lawlar with the Diamondbacks. Scott, how would you rank them in likeliness that we see them in September?
That's a different way of looking at it. Jordan Lawlar 1, Jackson Holliday 2, Jackson Chourio 3, Junior Caminero 4. So I'd rank them in terms of likeliness. That's not the order necessarily that I'd rank them in terms of excitement level if they did get the call. But the bottom line is these are probably my top 4 prospects for next year. And I think we need to be open to the idea that they actually will get called up in September because the incentive structure has changed so much with the CBA that took effect last year. Now, GMs seem to value the possibility of getting an extra draft pick if they have a rookie, if a top prospect is on the roster from start to finish of his rookie season, he's got to be there from the very beginning. If he lasts the whole season on the roster and then he places high enough in awards voting, not just Rookie of the Year that first year, but I think other awards come into play in future seasons too, then they get draft picks relative to where they finish and what awards and when. And it's very complicated how exactly the specifics of it. But the point is they are now incentivized to have top prospects on the roster from start to finish. And so if they think that's going to be the case for a top prospect of theirs, it's advantageous to call them up late the season before, not blow their rookie eligibility, but give them a chance to get their feet wet so that they have a better chance of hitting the ground running as rookies. So I think it's possible in all of these cases. I mean, Jackson Holliday, there's probably been the most buzz for him since he's the top prospect of baseball now. And even as a 19-year-old, he has just cruised, like just no let up from one stop to the next, made it all the way to Double-A this year, and just continues to deliver great results. And the right side of the Orioles infield's the left side of the Orioles infield's probably it's been a problem all season. If they could just slot Gunnar Henderson at third full time and Jackson Holliday at short, their playoff chances are probably better. Jackson Chourio, the case for him is that the Brewers are playing Tyrone Taylor most every day while the Cubs are nipping at their heels. It seems like they could stand to upgrade there. Chourio himself is only 19 and he's holding his own at Double-A. The numbers aren't going to blow you away, but he had a huge July, and just in terms of skills, they're off the charts for Jackson Chourio. And I've been most impressed. He's gotten that strikeout rate below 20% as a 19-year-old at Double-A. That looked like it'd be an issue last year, but he's gotten it under control already. Junior Caminero, look, the Rays are clearly in the thick of it. They could use another big bat like his. He's only 20, but he's a 20-year-old dominating Double-A. And what's interesting about Caminero is while he's primarily a third baseman, he's gotten time at shortstop too. The Rays have a need at shortstop all of a sudden and may have a need at shortstop for the long haul. So I wonder how open they'd be to the idea. It's worth noting Caminero I don't think he's made an appearance at shortstop in a few weeks. So I don't think the Rays are thinking along those lines, but it doesn't seem so far-fetched that Caminero could see some action at shortstop if they do call him up. And then Jordan Lawlar of the Diamondbacks, sort of like with the Orioles, the Diamondbacks left side of the infield has been a problem all season, third base especially. And I don't think they'd call Lawlar up to play third base, but to play shortstop and bump Geraldo Perdomo to third base, I could see that happening. His overall numbers, first of all, he's made it to Triple-A. He's the only one of this group who's made it to Triple-A already, but he's only 21. Got off to a very slow start, but if you take that out of the equation, the first 5 or so weeks of the season, he's been about a 300 hitter with about a 900 OPS. He's looked great. So Diamondbacks fading in the playoff standings, they could really use an influx like Lawlar, and I think there's a chance we see it.
No analysis. Just give me 3 other names that you think we might see in September.
Pete Crow Armstrong for the Cubs, Heston Kjerstad for the Orioles, and let's say Colt Keith for the Tigers. I will preface this whole thing. I'm taking big swings here. This isn't... It's hard to say how likely these are because we're in uncharted territory. We only have last year to look at with these new CBA incentives. So I understand I'm taking big swings here, but I think since it's a whole new world, it's worth taking big swings.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Audacy app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we'll be back again next week. Bye-bye.